You're playing Rainbow Six Siege, you hopped into a bit of casual, and you see this screen. What are your immediate thoughts? Some love it, some hate it. Tower is definitely one of the most controversial maps in Rainbow Six Siege, and for a lot of good reasons. Some people think it's too big, too defender-sided, too confusing, not enough vertical play, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. But I love Tower. And Tower, Intel is king. Either Zero or Valkyrie. These two operators shine the brightest on Tower out of any other map in the game, and I'm going to show you why. Starting with attack here, I'm going to show you a trick that any operator, not just Zero, can do. You want to spawn on the north side, go on the right side ventilation shaft, and you drop down, and you get onto these catwalks. I'm sure many people have had their drones on these catwalks before. This is nothing new. This is not the surprise. What you want to do is, what depends on what site they are. If they are in the west side site, so if they are in Toy Shop and Lantern, or if they are in, I believe that's Kitchen and Tea Shop, you want to go over here with your drone. You go up that little structure beam, you jump onto this vent, and now you've got a really nice drone spot. The only one who's ever going to find this is a really attentive Solus player. But what if they aren't on that side? What if they are in Media Center or they're in Tea Shop? What if they're over there? Well, once you go down the ventilation shaft, you can go to the right and do the exact same thing. So we go to the right, and then we're going to follow the exact same steps. No matter which side you go to, you have enough time to do this during preparation phase. You don't need to worry about that. Very simple. I usually like to go all the way to the center for the best view. And you get this nice little view here. I don't think I need to explain why this is a great view. You can get so much intelligence with this. The other view, the exact same. You can watch both floors, you can watch the vital staircases, you can watch the soft wall. Good cam spots all around that you can do with any operator, with any drone. But if you are playing Zero, and let's say you don't want to spend the time necessary to set up those drones, well, you can easily do the same thing with your Argus launcher. What you do is you go over here, then you can shoot your cam on the exact same ventilation shafts on this side. You can do it on the other side as well, and you can do this in complete safety unless a really cracked defender manages to shoot you somehow. You put the other one right there. So you get the exact same view as if you're on your drones, but you can do it from pure safety with the Argus launcher. Now let's say you wanted to drop down from the catwalks. It's very simple. Obviously you can drone it out if you saved your drones, or you can use your other launchers. Once you know you're safe to jump down, your next steps kind of just depend on where the site is. What I like to do is if they're in Media Center, or if they're in Toy Shop and I've got this section clear, I usually like to throw a camera here just to make sure that we can like watch our backs in case they're going to try and sneak up on us. Or if we get the plant down, we want to make sure we can watch the flank. Or if they're on the bottom floor, what I'll do with my last camera is I'll take it down here. If I clear it out, if they're over here, I'll probably throw it on this little black wall here. It gets this nice area. Or if they're in kitchen, I'll probably pierce the wall. Maybe I'll throw in here, who knows. But where things really get spicy is on defense with Valkyrie. So let's move to defense real quick. And I'm going to show you some really nice Valkyrie camp spots. So we'll do each bomb site. Let's start with second floor lantern room and gift shop. We'll take Valkyrie here. Go ahead and let the game load. And once we get in, this site is not one of the ones people generally start with. It's not one of the ones everybody loves. But cam spots here are fairly easy. I like to put one there. Nobody's going to be looking there. Gives you a nice viewpoint from here. You can see anybody trying to get into A. generally people aren't even looking up, and if you're not red pinging, they're not going to find that camera. As for the rest of this site, I like to either put a camera here, or I like to put a camera here. If I put a camera here, I can watch the hallway and people going into the little side room between sites. I can also watch the elevator for drop downs. Little spoiler, this is where I put one of my cameras when we go media center. As for my last camera, this is the best camera. I love this setup. I do the exact same cam spot for here and for kitchen. What you do is, as soon as prep phase is over, do not do this during prep phase. It will destroy your camera. You have to do it after prep phase. You can aim your camera right around here, get stuck to the white post, and boom. If you're holding the kitchen and T, you see this entire wall, you see the balcony, you see over there. It's a very useful cam spot. Theoretically, you could also throw it right there and get a better angle of this section, or if you wanted to, you could throw it here. Gives you a nice view of that drop down, gives you a view of this corner, gives you a view of downstairs corner. Very handy. And it's very hard to see that camera if you're not paying attention to it. Other good cam spots for this site include, as I mentioned, put one here. You can see over this hallway, you can see these doors right here. You can see the door right here, very useful. If you're looking for another cam spot, you can put one here. This will give you a nice view of the drop down to media center. And it'll also give you a view into toy and the toy wall. Pretty useful spot as well. Now, what if we go media center? What placements do I want to use for my cameras? What do I recommend you use? Media center is one of my favorite objectives on tower. It's very simple. First off, I put my first camera right here. No attacker is going to be looking up there for a Valkyrie camera. And we have it up there. You can see the entire room. It's very useful. You can see the hallway. You can see the sides. You can see the doorways. You can't really see back there, but you can hear them. You can see if people go back there. It's fine. As for my other cameras, as I mentioned during the the kids and fish, I like to either put one here on this black border, or I like to put one right here on the wall to cover this hallway. So generally I'll put one there, and then I'll put one there. For my third camera, usually what I would do is I would throw my third camera right here. What that'll do is gives you this view, which is very useful. Or theoretically, you could throw it here and get this view. This is also a very useful view. I alternate between this one and this one. It depends on what you want to have coverage for. This gives you a better view of the wall if they're going to try and hard breach it. And it also gives you a better view of the walkway right here. But this one gives you a better view of this area here, and I can't tell you how many times I'm constantly red pinging because there's like 5 people here that I'm scanning and they have no idea where this camera is. Very useful setup. You could theoretically use both if you wanted, but as I said, I recommend having one in the elevator hallway. Not directly in this room with the elevator, but either on this little black board or right here. Let's go to a different site. Now, what if we are in tea room and bar? Now we are on the first floor and not the second floor, unlike the other 2 sites. Where do we put our cameras, or where do I put mine? So, for this site, what I like to do is I like to go into this hallway, find this elevator, put one camera right here on the lip. It's a little bit hard to see. Nobody's really looking there. It kind of meshes with the background and the shadows. But with this view, you move it up, you can see the entire hallway. Very useful. Maybe I'll put one here. Generally, I'll put one here. Nobody's going to see it against the background when you're not on it. And then you get a nice view of the staircase, the door, this hallway. Very useful. And then for my third camera, what I would recommend is you go back over here and you either throw it on this ring or this ring. I believe I usually throw it on this ring. Yeah, so it's the same view as the media center, but this time it's a little bit more helpful. You can see when people are going down this staircase, when people are in media center hallway, when people are outside this wall. When they are outside the wall in this ping, they are never going to find this camera. Even with an IQ, people generally have a hard time finding this camera. I can pretty much get away with red ping constantly. Even on here, this walkway, they're never going to find it. You can usually get away with hot pinging them on the crosswalks as well. Pretty simple and easy setup. So what if we are in restaurants and bird room? Where do we put our Valkyrie cameras? Or at least where do I? Well, it's pretty simple. So first off, we go over here. I like to throw a camera right here in this corner. People never check that corner. When they are pushing this, they do not have time to check there for Valkyrie camera. And from this location, you can see this entire view. It's very useful for when people are trying to sneak up on A. Just like T room, I like to put another camera right here on the elevator. That way I can see this hallway. And then for my third camera, I like to go over here to the left, up the staircase, around here, and then I'll throw my camera in the same spot I threw it earlier. For a nice view, watching kitchen window, the balcony above it, and then the hallway. As for some other cam spots on this site, you could either throw one up here, which will get you a nice view of this section and the rest of this hallway, including the softball. You'll be able to hear anybody below this, and nobody's gonna see that cam, let's be real. If you want, for some reason, to have this, you can throw your cam right here. And now you can see, let me move. Now you can see this hallway. You can see all the way over to the left as well, to some extent. And you can see this balcony.